Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is PC, and today on the Gamers Passion podcast, we have a returning guest, Mr. Retro Dreaming himself, Lloyd. Would you say hello?
Yeah, howdy, strangers.
All right, and of course, we got our two co-hosts, aka the rulers of YouTube. We have Mr. Moneybags himself, aka SNK Neo Geo Man. Say what's up. No, you fucking on a whole new level, Mr. Samurai Showdown 5.
I like that, Mr. Moneybags.
Mr. Moneybags. Come on. You gotta say what's up to the people.
What's up, poor YouTube?
There you go. To the poppers. Yep, to the poppers. Alright.
That's classic.
And then we got Mr. Shoot Off in Space, aka Mr. Space Rocket, aka Newborn Flight, Jarrett, a.k.a. That's a lot of AKAs. That's a lot of AKAs. Mr. Jarrett, Space Cadet. Go ahead, man. Sound it off.
Hello, Earth.
People of Earth. This man is on Mars, ladies and gentlemen. He is on Mars.
Oh, shit. Let me move that out of the way.
Look at that. All right, that's cool. So today's topic, we're going to talk about emulation, but first we're going to do our usual stuff by we tell you guys what we've been playing lately and any new acquisitions that we got in our collection, and basically what we've been doing. So we'll start it off with Lloyd. What you been doing, man?
Jeez, what gaming was, I bought plenty of Wii U games, which I...
All right, that's what's up.
I've only played one. I haven't opened none of the others.
Oh, that's
and that's Mario 3D World, which is amazing. I've nearly done it, but because as you know, I go back and forth all the time. So I've bought tons of DS, 3DS titles as well. Again, I've not even opened those. I've been playing a lot of shooters at the minute. Like I was saying, Sal got me back in the Polestar again. Sort of pushed me back into that one. So sort of really just been playing a lot of shooters, really. Been getting back into Silver Gun. I don't know if you've been seeing some of the pictures on Google+. I've been Mary Dog hunting on there at the minute. You click the little dogs on there. I don't know if you know those.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I've been tracking them down. I've got 17 of those so far. So really, I'd still say I always end up going back to the retro games. I still, like I say, I've even bought some Wii games and stuff, but I haven't even opened them. I just always seem to end up. Hello? Whoops.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I just heard a blip noise. Then like we went.
Oh no, we're here.
But now, I just always end up going back to playing the retro stuff. Like I say, I'd mostly been playing. I'd say Retro Arch, like I say Polestar, just all the shooters really. That's all I've been on really. And is it Truxton too? I don't know how you pronounce it. Is that how you pronounce it?
Truxton, I believe so. Yeah.
I've been playing some of that as well because Griffo sort of influenced me that today. So I sort of tarted my, set that all up on there today. So. Okay. Like I say, it's just mostly being retro again. I just always end up going back to that. And I've recently got into like the scan line generator things. Got myself a couple of the SLG 3000. The one in the box and the little mini one.
Yeah.
So I've like got everything hooked up now via the plasma now. So I've got all the consoles hooked up, and I've recently just got a Sega Saturn off Soft Otaku, which I've already put the chip in, but I've got no joypad, so so I can't test it if it works. I've got a picture, but obviously I need a joypad to test it with, so he forgot to put my joypads in the parcel, so hopefully that'll come Monday. So that's about all I've really been doing, really. Like I say, it's just mainly the retro stuff.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, well, we'll go on to Jared. What you been up to, man?
You know what? To be honest with you guys, I haven't really bought anything new. I just kind of been in a state where I'm just more or less just trying to chill, save money and stuff like that. So I haven't really delved in and bought any big purchases lately. But one of the things I have been doing lately, I've been playing a lot of MAME. And I think that's going to be like the topic we're talking about is emulation. So I've been playing a lot of MAME, trying to research a lot of old obscure games that I used to play back in the day that maybe people never heard of. Like last video I put up was Sky Soldiers, a game that I remember playing a lot, and it's like a really really old school game, not very many people played. So just kind of doing that, just really trying to just go back and find some of those old, real obscure games that were around in the arcades and stuff like that. Just so really just doing that mainly, doing a lot of that. And every now and then I'll pull out some Neo Geo games or whatever and play some fighting games like I normally do, but just kind of like Lloyd, I just always find myself going back to old games and stuff. So, that's pretty much all I've been up to, guys.
All right, that's cool too. All right, Sal, what you been up to, man?
Basically, the purchases that I got, I actually completed my Neo Geo fighting collection. So now, every official fighting game that existed, whether it was on the AES or MVS, I now have. I mean, whether it's in a AES format or it's an MVS format, I have it now, because my last game that I actually had to complete was Samurai Showdown 5 Special, and I ended up picking up, picked up the AES off a US seller. It was in prime condition. It was like, I don't even think they even touched the damn game. It even came with like a phone card or something. And then I wound up getting the true version of the game, as I call it, off a chap there in the UK who was selling not only the cart with the original label, but the it's kind of like a partial kit. So I wound up getting off of him because I figured it was nice to just have the last AES game made for it and the last MVS game for it, especially the MVS one, because the MVS one is extremely rare. And from what I understand, though, not only did they recall a lot of the AES copies to kind of censor them, I believe they recalled the MVS copies because of that whole murder thing going in Japan back in the day. And the thing is, so from what I understand, only like a few hundred actually exist. So basically, I completed that. I got like Gunlord because I always want to try Gunlord because I don't feel like spending like $500 to $800 on a game that's not really official. So I waited until they did a second print of Gunlord from the NG Dev team. So I wound up picking that up for a decent price and all. And just maybe a couple little Dreamcast games like Twinkle Star Sprites and a couple other things that weren't too bad price. But my main thing was just completing my fighting game goal for the what you call it, the Neo Geo. So now, like, if I do get any games, if I get them on a reasonable price, I get them. If not, the 161 will suffice as far as any other pickups if I don't find them at reasonable prices. So that's really about it.
Okay, that's cool, man, and congratulations on that. Reaching your goal.
Yeah, that's amazing,
man. That's nice. That's definitely nice when you reach that. I'm after one more on the PS1. I keep saying just one more game, and my list is complete. I can chuck it in the bin.
Yeah, basically. It's hard to actually complete because you know what? I've been at it for like years now, and the thing is, the only thing I do regret is sometimes you're like, you're looking and you're like, I'll get it later on and all. And what happens is if the game is technically rare or popular, and the point is sometimes, okay, it depends on people's money situation, but sometimes you have to jump on it because the games just don't pop up. They really don't pop up for some reason. Now, the more common games, you can push them off, but it seems the retro games and all that, from what I'm understanding, it's becoming scarcer and scarcer that it's turning a lot of people off from buying retro.
That's exactly what I done with the PS2 there was like a couple of shooters on there like Raiden 3 and Giga-Wing Generations. Now, those two games, they crop up on eBay, but they go for silly money. I mean, I paid probably way over the odds what I wanted to pay, but I just thought, sod it, bite the bullet and just get them, and get them out of the way. And then that was that list complete. So, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet. But like I say, if they're too extreme, then they can sod off. I mean, I want Gex on the PS1, and that's round about £25 to £30, and I think that's grossly overpriced when you consider I could get the NTSC version for about £8. So the UK one just seems to be silly money, and it's just the last one on my list, to complete my my PlayStation 1, and I've got near on 300 on there, and I'm done. You see?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be super happy.
That's cool.
I mean, the point is, if you can find it, it's good. But sometimes, like you say, you have to bite the bullet. In some cases, sometimes you got to swallow the fucking thing. Because you ain't gonna. It's just not fucking happening in order to get it. Because a lot of stuff, I think a lot of people are really holding on to, or like in other words, or the resellers are making them too high, so it's turning off a lot of people. I think you should get it at something reasonable, but of course, you know.
You know, one thing that I thought was a really nice touch, Sal, in your video when you talked about that, picking up that Samurai Showdown 5 special, was that the back of the book, how SNK thanks their customers for 14 years of supporting that system. I thought that was really, really freaking cool, you know, to see that they actually had that little touch, you know. So kind of giving you that final kind of goodbye and thanks for supporting that.
And you know what's funny about that? Sorry to interrupt, Shaq. There are people who actually have the American version of that, or the whatever Euro or American version of it. And you know what? They always say. And there was one guy. I know he's on YouTube. I think he goes by the name of Rockstar Runner. He picked it up, the American version, unfixed. And he's like, oh, I got the booklet, you know, but I'm not going to show it to you, you know, because that's like for. I'm like, why? What the fuck is the big deal? Why is it such a mystery or a fucking secret? I'm like, to me, I'd be proud to show that booklet showing the companies thanking us for standing by not only our bullshit, our bankruptcy, or whatever things, and to have that system and support it as long as it is, because most systems cannot brag that they stayed around for 14 years. And for some reason, people do have it, but they don't like sharing it. And to me, that's ridiculous. To me, that should be shared with everybody to show how the system really overcame, you know, having a lot of, let's say, issues. Not issues in the sense of, but more of money things, where despite how expensive it is, the system still thrived. And kind of like the underground or the obscure, that it thrived for so long. And that, to me, should be showed for future generations to see how much this system persevered through a lot of bullshit that it had to deal with, you know, especially since its inception. And I think the public needs to know that. That's why I shared that. And I don't want to be, you know, some kind of fucking, you know, cock knocker. That the thing is you're not showing that with people. I just don't. I just don't.
Yeah. I never heard that before. But yeah, I thought that was a neat touch. It's kind of.
Well, you've never heard cock knocker before? I think that was. I'm trying to think. Well, film that. That was. What the hell was it?
That was just some white. That's some white people cursing.
but the whole thing, Sal, I completely understand what you're saying, because I've come across a lot of Neo Geo fans, and those, I'm sorry, but Neo Geo fans are the worst kind of fanboys.
I agree.
They are some fucking real shiesty people.
Yes.
They're shiesty. They are.
Yeah,
shiesty.
You know what? That's very interesting.
You know what? Go ahead, Jared. Sorry for interrupting.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, I don't hang around like the forums and stuff like that because, oh my god, I agree with you 100%, PC about that. They're just like, you know, I love the Neo Geo. I've had it for a long time, but I can't hang out with those dudes.
Yeah, like
way too over the top. You know, it's just like a little bit too much for me. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I had one time I had a conversation with a guy. We were just talking about I think it was some type of game or something like that. And they was like, yeah, if you don't have it in this position, at this angle, in this shade of moonlight, that shit is garbage. Like, I mean, they're insane when it comes to that. No, like your shit has to be like precise. Like it has to be untouched, kept in a baggie. You can't even play that motherfucker. All you can do is look at it. That's how a lot of them are. That's how a lot of them are.
Not me, dude. I've put my shit in the car. That fucker's got marks on it, because the point is, if I'm spending that shit, I don't care if I wet my ass, but that shit is touched. Because, now, true, I'll keep it in the box and everything, but the thing is that to me is ridiculous. That's not, to me, it's not a stamp or something where it's perishable or it'll crumble. I mean, the game is meant like I always say, I am a collector, don't get me wrong, but I played a fucking game, and you can see the things, my shit touched. I can't deal with people who are like, oh, you got it. My my Samurai Showdown 5 special, the ASK card came with that extra plastic thing that you can put it in. It's like a sleeve type of protection and all that. And you know what? I actually put it on my shelf with that. I didn't, because I just put it on my shelf as that's what it is, because I'm going to play this game. I'm not that deep into it that I have to, I've got to fucking, put like a bodyguard onto it, or, fucking have an alarm system going on, or battery acid will fall on it if you even look at it crooked. What the fuck, man? Play your games. Play your
Going to that, that's what I hate. Changing the subject sort of. That's what I hate about VGA collectors. I just cannot understand it. It's one thing that always has baffled me. These people that tomb their games up and never play them. I just can't understand it. Why put something in a box that you're never going to friggin' play? You know what I mean? I just don't understand the mentality in that. But bloody, like you say, the game is there to be played, isn't it? Don't fucking, like you say, seal it away in a tomb. Get that fucker out and play it.
Absolutely. That's why I don't understand the people where they say, I don't have a problem, you take care of your shit. I respect that.
Yeah.
You like to take care of your stuff. But there's a difference between taking care, if you're like taking care of something and just saying, oh, it should be never, I mean, what the fuck is it? It's not, It's not like a painting, where a painting, you just keep it, you keep your distance, you don't put your grubby hands on it because it fuck it up. But this is a game that's meant to be put in the system, meant to be played, and passed on and all. And the point is I don't understand that. Like, they're expensive, true, but I don't understand the mentality of a lot of these. I'm part of the Neo Geo forum, but I don't ever go on there because I don't want to hear stupid shit, because I'll tell you something. I'll tell a motherfucker off in a minute, because to me, I've been collecting these games, these Neo Geo games, since I was like 16 years old. I worked hard to get a lot of these games and stuff, and the point is, I'm not going to hear somebody say, like, you shouldn't be touching your... No, I mean, that's what they meant them for. It just, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's like you turn something that's enjoyable into something that's about monetary value, and it's about like an investment. Now it's like it's just like a classic car. You have a classic car that you can't drive it on the road and all that kind of crap. It's kind of like, well, the point of a car is to enjoy it, put it on the road, take it, for a spin every now and then. That's the way I look at video games, the same way, It's like, it's the enjoyment of playing the game. If it's about an investment, it kind of takes away. And that's the whole thing about, like, the whole thing with, like, the Neo Geo X and the emulation. It's like, sometimes, that it's, you're allowing the money to take over something that should be something that's pleasurable, And when it's like this exclusive thing all the time, which is what the Neo Geo was, at least for me growing up, it was always this thing that was all exclusive, and same thing with like arcades and arcade boards were very exclusive, and that's something that only certain people who had access could really enjoy. Now it's other people can enjoy it, or people who really love those games can enjoy them in a way that they couldn't, and like Lloyd said, to preserve those games and keep them around, so.
I definitely agree with you, Jared. And like Lloyd says, to preserve them, these things are meant to be played, especially by these young generations. Because young people don't know shit. I'm sorry. They don't know shit. I'm an old fucking man right now. Like, these kids today and shit, they don't know anything. All they know about is their Call of Duty's getting shot and fucking still keep living. I don't get that part of it. Once you get shot, you die, but evidently... I guess Call of Duty and a lot of these other games, everybody's Jesus in the game, and they still continue to keep living. But the thing is that they have to understand these games and understand where you've got, like, start with, like, Call of Duties or whatever. Like, start with the Wolfenstein, start with the Dooms, and show the progression as they once were, but they are now. That's the preserving of it, showing, well, this thing didn't just come out of the sky. These games are a product of these games. They stem from these games, and then they just made the idea of, okay, putting soldiers in them or making the graphics better, but they all stem from things, and that's what these kids today don't understand, because they're not subjected to these older games. They're not.
They don't even. You know what, Sal? That's a great point you brought up, because, like, a lot of kids who play these first-person shooters, a lot of, like, people in my family, like my younger siblings and stuff like that, like, dude, they don't even know about Doom. They never heard of Doom. They never heard of the game. They never heard of, like, Quake. in those, like, you know, the grandfathers of those first shooters, like, dude, you know, these games aren't new. You guys are playing games that have actually been conceptualized a long time ago.
Jared, that's because they're all PS2 babies.
Yeah.
PS2 babies. I'm dead serious. PS2 babies. PS2 babies. Yeah, babies. Babies. But hold on. Let me go back. Just real quick, guys, before we start get into the main topic. As far as what I've been playing, since we had to break it from the podcast, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon. Why? A lot of it. Like, I got maybe about 600 hours on my game card already. So I've been ODing on that. But there has been 600 hours.
Oh, it's
yeah.
Like dollar. I just thought you said dollars. I thought. Huh?
No. 600 hours. Because because in Pokemon you do a lot of stuff like breeding and just competition. I have I'm a part of a network where we fight people online and stuff like that. And I've been doing a lot of that, getting teams ready. So in the meantime, from that though, I actually picked up Samurai Showdown Anthology on the PS2. Okay. And that was like the first time I actually got to see it on the PS2. And let me tell you guys, this collection is probably the best collection I've ever played on PS2.
Yeah.
As far as Samurai Showdown goes.
It is good, yeah.
It is, because really, like, first of all, having owned a lot of these games on here, like actual versions, it's actually the load times are not bad at all. Like, it loads once at the beginning and then that's it. There's no load times.
Yep.
And the actual, like, as far as frame data and hits for hits, they all match up. I could do all my combos off the Neo Geo card onto this. And it's a really good collection. So if you guys are looking for a good Samurai Showdown collection, just Samurai Showdown games, this one is not that expensive. I picked it up off of eBay for about $30.
It's not bad. Was it sealed?
No, it wasn't sealed, but it would. I mean, it came from California, and the seller, it's like brand new. It looks brand new.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember picking that one. I picked that one up when it was a store. It was hard because GameStop. Some GameStops had it, some GameStops didn't, because it came out, I think, like 2009, I believe.
Yep.
And what's it called? Yeah, and the reason why I wanted to pick that bad boy up is because of Samurai Showdown 6. For the Atomic Wave that it has it separately. But if you notice on that collection, it doesn't have the Samurai Showdown 5 special. Because SNK purposely took that shit away to make sure it was exclusive to only Neo Geo people.
Yeah. Now about that, Sal, I have to call fucking shenanigans on no. I have to call shenanigans on you and your Samurai Showdown 5 review. That game is actually really good, man. It's just it's the only thing you can't kill people. Besides that game is pretty good.
Hold on now, bro, Ham. Hold on now.
It's good. It's good.
I'm a straight youngster out now. Hold on.
Come on. Come on. I got to debate you about Samurai Showdown 5. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Controversy.
It's not. It's not.
I'm saying it's not. Look, out of the series, it is the worst in the series. It is not a bad game. It's like Metal Slug 4. Metal Slug 4 is not a bad game, but it's the worst in the series. It's Samurai Showdown 5 is the same thing. While, yeah, there are some nice characters that they designed and all, and a couple other things. But one, the balance is completely the fuck off. The animations and graphics and all are stepped down. As far as the character-wise, the new characters like, the guy, the Takagawa, the guy with the many swords in the back of him.
Yeah.
He's an actual really cool design. He's kind of sort of like that hybrid between, Ukyo and Halomaru. But he's cool. I like the design of him and a couple other characters.
Mm-hmm.
But balance is really fucked up, especially when you're fighting the mid-boss, Zankoro, the guy with the fucking huge mallet, and he fucking uses the gun to fucking shoot you.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
He gains his life back, and he has all his little friendly fuckers, grab you and touch you and molest you and shit while he does damage to you. And then some of the characters and shit, hold on now, I ain't done. Hold on now, motherfuckers. Hold on now. The thing is that, and then there's other balancing issues as far as certain other characters. It's not a bad game as far as, but the balance is off. the hit detection sometimes is a little off, and the backgrounds are cool. But if you look at the backgrounds from Samurai Showdown 3, Samurai Showdown 4, and look at them in 5, a lot of the animation that wasn't present in those previous games are missing out of that game. So and the killing the people, all right, fine. I can live with that you don't kill them, fine. That's neither here nor there. But the balancing issue and the lack of animation, that's a no-go for me. That's just a no-go. I mean, I think it took a regressed rather than progress in the series. And you know what? That's why Special was made, because to fix those issues, because people were complaining their ass off about it.
Oh.
Can I just add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
For what you're saying, dude, is it's like the S. Basically, it all has to do with play more. Once it became SNK play more, it's not that these games are really that bad. Like, for instance, my gripe with King of Fighters 2001 and also SNK Capcom Chaos, it's not that the games are bad, but they're not the best. You know, that's the whole thing. It's not that, like, Samurai Showdown 5 Special, like what you're saying, PC, I don't think it was a bad game, but it's just not the best that it could be, knowing what we've known from SNK for all these years. That's all it is. But not the game's bad.
Okay. All right. Is it my turn?
Go ahead.
All right, my turn. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now, all those points that you said, Sal, are valid, and you too, Jared, is valid, right? And SNK Play More did, combine and do Samurai Shodown 5, right? But let me go back and introduce you guys to the clusterfuck known as Samurai Showdown 3. That is the worst in the series by far. As on a competitive level, it's the worst. That's shit.
We stopped playing that game.
Yes. No. And the reason why you didn't get Samurai Showdown 3 special is because you got Samurai Showdown 4. Do you understand what I'm saying? Samurai Showdown.
I'll be the first one. I'm not going to say. You know what the problem with Samurai Showdown 3 is? One, bad hit detection.
Yes, it's the worst. Listen to me.
It is fucking. It's not even the bad hit detection. But you take damage, and one slice takes away almost 75% of your life.
Yes,
that's fucked up.
Yes, it's the worst. That's the worst. The whole thing about Samurai Showdown 3, right? And I love the way it looks from 2. I mean, I love that art direction way better than 2 and 1. I'm just saying, as far as the game itself as a total, there's so many bugs in that game. It's so many things that flicker in and out as far as the background go, where something be animating 1 second and then it'll stop.
Yes.
Okay? And the hit detection is so bad, and the actual balance of the game. You can only really use on a competitive level like three people out of the whole roster, and the rest, everybody else is so much weaker compared to them. The balancing issues are so bad, and the last boss is the cheapest in all history.
You know what? It is the last boss because you know what? The way I saw the last boss is I thought it was easier because you can do a lot of air blocking, and the air blocking when you counter, you can strike. But I do agree that the hit detection is bad, the damage is bad. The only thing with that game is that during that 1995 period when SNK between 95 and going a little bit to 96, like King of Fighters 95. Samurai Showdown 3 and kind of King of Fighters 96, within that year and a half, SNK was going through a lot of shit. They fucked them games up. I mean, the thing is that the balance was off. And the same with King of Fighters 95. King of Fighters 95 balance was fucked up, and the damage in that game is fucked up too. And don't lie to me, fucking Jared. You know damn well that shit is true, you motherfucker.
You know what? Oh my god. I disagree. I respectfully disagree.
I thought the game was great. Fuck you, disagree. Samurai, motherfucker. I would do one comp, and your life is gone. Get the fuck out of here.
Wait. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you about the gameplay balance in that game. That game was made to where, you can do a special that does about 75% damage, but those specials were fucking complex to do, dude.
That's because that's another thing about 95. They fucked up the controls so much. It takes you a half an hour to do one special. That's straight up. But
the thing is, what I liked about the game, this is what I say about 95, and that's why I did it, I played it, is because it has a seesaw effect. Dude, you got 3 characters. You got 3 characters with full life bars, so I thought that was an excellent balance. When you play the later games, it's like, dude, you don't do a special does no damage. You know, it's just like, well, what's the point in doing a special? You know, might as well do a combo.
Actually, it doesn't even have to be a special, because I can give you a combination now. You can actually do, let's say with Kyo, you can actually do, let's say, a jump kick, do like a jump kick with a hard kick, come down with a hard punch, go into that fucking scissor kick shit he does where he kicks you twice and it lands you in the air, and go up into what he does, that flame fucking dragon punch thing. You do that one combination, your health is depleted by set, and that's not even using a super special like he would have when he does a super flame thing. That is just a regular combo that you can do. Same with Takuma. If you jump in with a hard kick, a hard punch, and go into that fucking flying kick shit that he knocks you into the air, go into that fucking, what the fuck is where he does with the arms, you know what I'm talking about. That will take away 75% of your life. Those are just regular combinations that kill the shit out of you. How you
Yeah, but you know what though, in the arcade, that makes the battles fast, dude. It's like, you don't want a long drawn out battle. It makes it fast.
No, that's that.
And you know what? I love that game. I used to, believe me, dude. I used to play that game all through the arcades. Like, I used to go everywhere to play that game.
Well,
I'm not saying it's big. I'm just saying that there are issues that I noticed compared to the thing that some of the balances off, and that's why 96 tried to kind of rectify that. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I'm saying is that during that time period of 95 into 96, the game seemed to be a little off, and then they kind of got like better. From about like maybe the year of maybe 96 or really towards 97 and on, they actually started really becoming way more balanced, and everything kind of like solved itself out.
To me, like 98 is technically the best King of Fighters, right?
It is, hands down. Hands down.
Doesn't mean it's the funnest, though.
It's not up for discussion, Jared. Jared, go. Let's go back and rewind the tape. It's not for discussion. 98 is the best King of Fighters. Besides the new one, 13. It's the best.
My God.
Listen to me. People all around the world still play that one the most today. It's fun. It's fun, though. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. It is good. But, you know, playing KOF for a long time, it doesn't mean that it's my favorite personally. I'm not saying that, you know, it's just my opinion. That's all. 2000
is the worst.
And you're entitled to it.
That's true. This whole thing. I'm just saying. This whole thing started because Samurai Shodown 5, which my man Sal made a review about. If you guys please go to Sal's channel and go check it out. SNK Neo Geo Man's channel. Go look at that review. He rips Samurai Shodown 5 a fucking new one, and I gotta disagree with it. It's not that bad.
You know what? Everything, just like any game, it's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
It's acquired taste. Really, what it comes down to is what you like compared to another thing. That's really what it comes down to. Is acquired taste. But from my experience, that's the reason why. And I own it for the AES. You know, I own Samurai Shodown 5 for the AES now. Like I said, it's not a bad game, and I do play it. But there are tons of issues with it. But by the same token, it's like I said, it's not a bad gig. I mean, all reality, I would rather play the MVS version and the AES version than play the Xbox version is worse.
Oh yeah,
the Xbox version is way harder and way cheaper. The AI is way more brutal. I don't know if you guys ever played the Xbox version of SPC Chaos and Samurai Shodown 5. I think they're horrible. That's me personally. I think they're horrible. I don't know if you've played them, Lloyd, but to me, I think they're.
That's what I was going to say. I'm well out of the loop. You'd have to recommend where to start because I mean, I've picked at those fighters, but I've never really got into. You know, I've always been like sort of Street Fighter Tech and Soul Calibur, Soul Edge. They've been my but I've never ever. I think I played like Mark of the Wolves. I got into that once when I had it on the Dreamcast, but as the ones you're discussing, I haven't really sort of got into those, so I wouldn't really know, But I mean, I can play them, so
yeah. Well,
you'll have to tell me a good place to start.
Okay. If I can jump in, Lloyd, if you want to start, and anyone who's listening, really want to know what the Samurai Shodown series is on a strictly competitive level. I'm not going to be like Sal and say Samurai Shodown 2 like an old man, okay? Because that game is very limited. Look at if you want to know exactly what Samurai Shodown is about, look at Samurai Shodown 4 played competitively. It plays like a mix between Samurai Showdown 2, which is a really good one, and a Street Fighter game. It's really good.
Yeah,
it is.
It's really good. That is the
Four
best Samurai Showdown to me.
4 is excellent. I'm not going to deny it. 4 is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, the balancing.
It really fixed a lot of everything from Part 3.
Yes,
You're right.
It brought back a lot of good characters from Part 2 that weren't in 3, like Tam Tam, who else? Jubei and stuff like that. A lot of, I mean, not Jubei. What's the guy with the eye patch?
Jubei.
Oh, Jubei. Okay, Jubei. Yeah. And some other ones. And if you guys want to know how a really good Samurai Showdown game, SNK really had to put their mark on that one. That is the best one to me, personally.
I agree.
That's noted.
Yeah, so that one. Because Samurai Showdown 6 is a fucking mess, Sal. I don't care what you say. It's a mess.
No, you mean for the Atomus Wave, you mean?
Yes, that's a mess.
That one it's okay. I agree with you. I don't think it's the best in the series. I think it's, compared to that they moved on to new hardware, it is kind of a letdown.
Yeah,
compared
it is.
to hardware, because the new hardware was supposed to actually replace the dated shit that they had for the Neo Geo, and I don't really see the improvement. I agree with that. Other than having a zillion characters on there from all the Samurai Showdowns, that's really about it.
Yeah. All right.
What do you guys think about the? Just real quick before we move on, well, what do you guys think about the Samurai Showdown Zen, which you can get on the Xbox 360 and so forth?
I was man, I was gonna buy it. I was gonna buy it for like $7 at my GameStop, and I just haven't bit that $7 bullet yet. I can get I can get a Big Mac meal for that. You see what I'm saying? Or something like, or, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Is it worth a Big Mac meal? I don't know.
You know what? I think it is.
You think
know
it
what,
is?
For $7 PC, buy it for $7, dude, because that's still an arcade-based game. So my feeling on it, if you guys remember Samurai Showdown 64, it's made on Neo Geo 64. I think it's kind of takes from that game, but at least it's better than that game. So if you can pick up for $7, dude, I recommend it.
I'll go pick it up after the podcast then. $7. I'll go pick it up. I'll go pick it up.
It's worth that.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. Well, man, we're going to get on to our main topic, and our main topic today is emulation. Now, in the retro community, that's kind of a touchy subject for certain people, and for good reason. I can see why, with burning disk and hacking and stuff like that. But what do you guys feel about it as individuals? We'll start with Lloyd, because Lloyd actually does a lot of emulation himself, but he actually owns a lot of the games that he emulates. So we'll start off with Lloyd.
Well, you know my stand on it, basically. Like I say, emulating the older stuff, I totally agree with. Like I said, before, preservation, and it's for the the generation coming up now, who aren't going to be able to afford these games, you know what I mean? So, emulation is a way that they're going to be able to play them, And the trouble, I think, as well, why it gets a bad rap as well, and because people think you just sat behind like a laptop or whatever, and you're just playing some shitty emulator. But the way I emulate, I play it on a big screen, and I'll have fake scan lines, and there's sitting here, looking like a Polestar running in the background now, you just wouldn't believe it, seeing it in the flesh, and that's not me just saying it, and that's my spin on it. I don't agree with anyone, using it as a tool to say like burn discs and sell and stuff like that. I don't agree with that, but I can't see there's no harm in emulating Sega Saturn, PlayStation 1 games, Super Famicom, that sort of thing. I totally agree with, and I think people should back those up, and they should be preserved. Like I say, for younger generations, because there are young gamers out there who don't like shiny graphics and that. You know what I mean? There are people out there who do like the old games, and that's sort of that is my take on it. Oh, is that me or you?
Oh, I think that may be you.
It's
definitely not me.
Emulation, there's alarms going on.
We'll see. There you go.
That's like I always say, it's just preserving those games, and like Sal says, you know, I mean, a lot of these games, like, I mean, I play Polestar here, and if you, it's no different. It's just no different. You know, emulation years ago was crap. You know, I mean, it's like with the Sega Saturn emulation. Now I use the Sweet FX. That's like an injector, and you can add better scan lines and have it look like a tube TV. You know, and I've actually got that looking pretty much spot on now until I get this Sega Saturn bloody joypad. Then I'll be able to see the differences, if you know what I mean. But I done a comparison video as well not so long ago. I don't know if you've seen that, where I show Metal Gear Solid emulated, and then I show it on the real hardware going through the SLG. And there's just no comparison, you know what I mean? If it's done properly and decent, and you're still going to get that same experience. You know, I'm playing these shoot 'em ups, so I get that same experience. It wouldn't be no different if I opened an AES case and slotted it in there. You know, I'm still getting that same experience. Yes, I'm not getting the product, the real thing in my hand, but I'm still getting the same enjoyment, and that's my take on it, really.
Okay.
Preservation.
Got it. All right. Well, Sal, what do you think, man?
The thing is that, I mean, a lot of times I started kind of like, I wouldn't say easing up on the emulation issue, but the thing is that I understand because of the whole retro boom that's been going on for the past few years, a lot of the carts have gone fucking mad in prices. And what's happening is that, like, I seen, a recent video from, who is it, Gamester81, I mean, he's saying it's cost too much, this and that, whatever. But the point is, what I'm saying is that because of the cost of the retro boom, and I think it will level out to some extent, except on certain things, but it might take years. So I can understand why people go to emulation now more than ever, because like Lloyd was saying, that because hardware has advanced and emulation systems or programs, whatever it may be, have advanced too. The thing is that the play is a bit better. But the thing is that at heart, I would rather have the true actual product. Yeah. But the problem though is especially with these arcade games where when you having let's say even if you have a super gun and you have the JAMA connector and everything to play these PCB boards and stuff, where the fuck are you going to store them? I mean, because look at Luke Morse. I mean, he's got a whole bunch, but it's a fucking mess. He's got to make sandwich boards and fucking put them in pizza bites. I mean, it's a mess. You can't preserve, and the games and the boards wind up getting fucked up. They wind up getting cracked. So I can kind of see when it comes to certain things that it's kind of foolish to start putting PC boards unless you have a proper way of storing them. But after a while, to get them, they just take up too much room. And the thing is, where the fuck are you going to put them?
That's the thing, Sal. That's the thing. What I say as well, right? Now I collect. I don't collect. I don't really class myself as a collector anymore. But I've collected what I want on the PS2. I've nearly got what I want on the PS1. The thing is, I'm not going to then start collecting, like you say, for PCBs. I'm not going to start collecting for the AES, because like you say, I wouldn't have the room. My man cave in here is just full up. It's got more than enough stuff in here. And it's the same with emulation as well. People will say, I've got 3,000-4,000 games. Now, on my setups, all my games are hand-picked, they're all games that I love playing, like my shooters. I don't have 3,000 or 4,000, 10,000 games, because people say, you'll play an emulated game and then you'll just play 2 minutes of it and you'll switch it off and you'll go on another one. Mine are all hand-picked, I'll just go there and I've got, like, my shooters, say, like, through RetroArch, and I'm playing, a shooter, I can just go straight to that shooter, bang, click on it, and I play it on the joystick. It's all no cables anywhere. That's all done wirelessly. It's just brilliant, and that's how I do it. Like you say, a lot of it is storage as well. You can't collect for everything, unless you, got the room, got the money, then have everything, by all means. But Jesus, if you had all those things, you'd never be able to play them in your lifetime anyway. The games I've got. I'll be long gone before I even fucking finish, half the shit I've got, so that's why I look at it.
Great. Like, plus, as a cartridge is a little different because a cartridge you can kind of store, but a PCB board is so exposed with the wires and fucking IC chips and all sorts of shit that they're so prone to cracking because they're not meant to be moved around and all that. To me, that is insane. So I can understand where the main thing comes into play, especially with those games where you're required to have a PCB board in order to play it. But the thing is, that's where I come into play. But if you can get the actual cartridge, of course, with the money and the whole retro boom and the resellers and all that's other complete issues, the thing is that I would rather have them. But when it comes to some of the other shit, that's just ridiculous. There is no way you could actually properly collect a lot of this stuff because it's just insane. It's just, and of course the PC boards are not only expensive, but I said the storing of them and things of that nature because they're so fragile that you break it, you're fucked. There is no repair for them. And and it's hard getting replacements for these boards because a lot of them are, in the graveyard fucking pushing up daisies somewhere. So,
And you know what, Sal? Now, I know there's a lot of guys who collect the arcade PCBs out there probably listening, but I know with I've just learned myself, just like some of those Capcom boards, they have suicide
batteries.
Batteries,
yeah.
Come on. So they're really trying to work against you.
What is a suicide battery? What is that exactly?
I think it's like a life expectancy of the board, and it just shuts down after a certain time period. But there are is it like you can Phoenix them or something they call it?
Well, no, the ones that Jared is talking about, Capcom is basically known for these. What is it? In order for you not to get inside the game and actually kind of like hack the game, take the game, like when you open it up and you expose it a certain way that's not, their way, that the game will actually like kind of like erase itself off of the board. Yeah.
I thought the suicide actually shut the board down. No.
It shuts it down completely, so you can't do anything with it.
Wow. There's a method they call Phoenixing or something like that, isn't there? Where you can I don't know because I ain't got a bloody clue about PCBs, but I have heard that.
Yeah, and that's the thing about some of that hardware. Yeah, because basically the companies that were making those boards and everything, they wanted to protect their investment, so they didn't want people hacked because there was a lot of hacking and a lot of what you call bootlegs and stuff they've had in the arcade that other people were trying to that they were doing. It was basically just fraud. So that's how I think Capcom did to protect their their IPs, their boards, So
I guess. Oh, sorry, Beck. Go ahead, Jared.
No, that's just the way that they protected themselves. In those days,
Oh, okay. Because the thing is I know SNK was feeling the same thing because at a certain point, if you're doing what do you call that? Like kind of like what they do with money and IDs, they try to use holograph and all sorts to try and trick the system. But people get around it after a while because once you learn that technology, they've already learned it and moved on. I guess it is interesting because you do lose a lot of money because I believe it was some of the chips, as years went on, became really cheap. And people could just buy a lot of stuff and get transfer ROMs and do all sorts of shit that they couldn't do before, which they was so much more expensive when they initially came out. So I guess they had to do all sorts of fucking trickery with the shit in order to protect their investments because you lose money on bootlegs and all, and that's where that's what brings down a lot of these arcade companies because. To me, it is being a dick if you're going to fucking steal people's shit. I ain't going to lie. It is just being a dick move because it only hurts the company and it only benefits you in the short run, whereas in the long run, you're losing out on, much more games that possibly come out of that company, but they've lost profit, so now you're fucked. There's nothing else to really get out of them.
Okay.
You're right.
All right, well, Jared, what do you feel about it, man?
About emulation, I think that emulation is pretty much like a godsend, especially for the older stuff, like the stuff from the 80s and the 90s. It's just one of the greatest things. I use it as a tool. I love using it. I love playing MAME. My brother basically got me hooked on it because I remember back in the day, we're like real big arcade guys, and I wasn't really much into PCs. Like, I'm really not like a PC guy at all. But he called one day and he's like, dude, you got to get a PC. I'm like, why? So, because there's this thing called emulation. I'm like, okay. So I go to his house one day and he's playing Willow, which was made by Capcom. And that's a game that never got a port or anything, you know. Yep. It was a great platformer. I mean, it's probably one of the best platformers. And we were playing it at his house, and I couldn't believe it. So he hooked me up, and, I mean, basically, he drove me to the place to buy a computer, do all this. Just like, you can't live without this. So he hooked me up, you know? And so that's how I kind of... Yeah, so he hooked me up, you know? Without him, I wouldn't have none of this stuff. So that's how I got into emulation. So I could play all those games that I grew up with, you know, like how, like, that otherwise I wouldn't be able to play. And there's a ton of them. It's always surprising how much you can find that you're like, wow, I never played this, or this game never got brought to a home console ever. And you can play those games. And to me, that's just like, wow, you know, I could finally do that now and go back in the past and just kind of have an archive of games to play. And that to me is, like, to me, I think that's like a service to gamers, especially, you know, guys up in the older, like in my generation who played games back in the 80s and 90s or in the arcade. And you can't find a lot of stuff, you know. There's just stuff that you're just not going to find, man. You're not going to get any other way. So I think it's a godsend PC. So
I was going to say as well with that, Joe, you see, you get a lot of negativity. It's like people, you know, they moan, you know, say like the Sega Saturn, you know, you emulate games from there. But I mean, truth be told, you know, you aren't doing no harm. I mean, you know, these companies, a lot of them are long gone. You know, you're not. I mean, do they think buying a second-hand game is, you know, benefiting the company? It isn't, is it? You know, you buy this second-hand game now for the Sega Saturn, all that money goes to the you know, the seller, doesn't it? You know what I mean? That's to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I say I can't see the problem. People sort of get their panties in a twist, you know, and I think, well, why? You know, you're not doing no harm. No one's doing no harm. And going back to MAME, I mean, the things you can do with MAME, you know, like I say, with these scan lines and, you know, and having them, you know, how they look now is just incredible, you know. It's come so far, and that's the problem as well with emulation. People, you know, have either used it in the past and gone, oh, that's crap, you know, but over the last, I'd say, I mean, I've been emulating for years anyway, but the last, I'd say, 2-3 years has just come leaps and bounds. I mean, these shaders and things, and I mean, you need a fairly beefy PC if you're gonna, you know, run them and have them look, you know, pucker. But like I say, if you saw it in the flesh, you know, I mean, just look at some of my videos anyway. You know, I mean, you know, there's not bragging, but there's just no way you're going to get them looking as good as the real thing. Do you know what I mean? Unless there's no way you can do it. Because you've got no picture degradation or nothing, have you? You've got no interference, nothing. You know, it's just a crystal clear, bang picture. You know what I mean?
Think about it like Daytona USA 2, which never came out to any home console ever. There's no way you're going to play that. You know, how are you going to do? What are you going to do? Petition Sega to bring that out, downloadable content? Good luck. You know, but if you have the right emulator, you can actually play that.
But that's what I'm saying. If they did, if it came to Xbox Live Arcade or whatever, then yeah, I'd happily purchase it. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't. You know, I'm not one of these people that are totally, you know, I ain't going to fucking buy that. I'm just going to steal that game. You know, a lot of my emulation is stuff that's 15, 20 years old. You know what I mean? So, you know, and like I said before, you know, if you're doing it to spin off discs and you know, sell them and that, yeah, that's fucking wrong, you know what I mean? But MAME is a wonderful tool anyway, especially running it through RetroArch is absolutely amazing. I mean, I think RetroArch is one of the most amazing things out there, really, you know, what it can do anyway. Yeah. That's one thing you should try. That's one thing you should try, Jarrett. You should get it going through that because it's a good tool.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, as far as like new stuff, I don't condone like emulating any new consoles. I don't even think users have the technology really to do that now. But the old school stuff, guys. I mean, from the 80s and 90s, you know, Like, I wouldn't, you know, I don't have any problem with that at all.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to pay £200 for bloody Panzer Dragon Saga. You know what I mean? When I can just download it, you know, and put it on a disc for and it's going to cost me 10 pence. You know what I mean? I ain't going to pay some geezer £200, you know, and he can laugh at me, you know, and say, you know, he's paid £200, you know, because like I say, Sega or whoever, you know, Team Andromeda, they're not going to see none of that money no more. You know what I mean? So that's the way it is, isn't it? You know, so you emulate it, don't you? And, you know, emulation has come a long way, a very long way. I mean, I'd say N64 is probably the one that's really lacking. You know, that has struggled, and you know, but that is slowly creeping up there now. You know,
okay. Nintendo's always been very resilient when it comes to hacks and emulation. They just have that real. It's really hard to go, you know, to emulate Nintendo stuff. So.
Well, speaking of that,
apart from the Super Nintendo, because Huygens,
the old stuff, but the new stuff, no.
Well, no, definitely not, no.
Okay, well, let's talk about emulation. What do you guys think? And this is just a general question for everyone, you know, whoever can answer it. What do you guys think for like stuff like Xbox Live? Like that's emulation. So is PSN. When you buy like Sonic CD on Xbox Live, like do you feel any type of way about it? Like does it kind of like deter you from doing it? Because me, I don't like playing, and maybe it's just a mental thing, maybe brand loyalty or something like that. But like I don't like playing Sega games, especially old ones like Sonic on my virtual console on my Wii. Or I don't like, you know what I mean? I don't like playing.
No, I was talking to somebody that the other day. It's just funny you bring that one up. I don't like the old games like that either. And to be fair, they're bloody worse than emulation. You know, the best emulators out there. I mean, Nintendo can't even do it right themselves. You know, and to be honest, they should be giving them away free anyway. Why should they, you know, get money again? You know what I mean? They've done it on the Wii, and you know it's on the Wii U that they're all on there again. You know, but they should be giving them away free. You know, Jesus. You know, like I say, they don't. They don't do
charging it for Super Mario Brothers. You know what I mean? Shit.
They just keep recharging and recharging all the time, though, don't they? That's the thing, you know.
I mean, but I know some people who have a problem with emulation. But, you know, they'll turn around and go buy, you know, something on Xbox Live where it's like, that's emulation. You know what I'm saying? That's emulation right there.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. But some of those are poor. I mean, I remember one site, when I had the Wii, I think they'd done the Super Mario anniversary where they put, like, all the Mario games on there, bar the, you know, Mario 64. And I'll tell you, I put that in the Wii and I went mental because it was so bad. You know what I mean? Nintendo done such a rubbish job, you know, put it all in a flashy pack, you know, put a music CD in, and they couldn't even emulate their own bloody games. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
you know what? That's great. You know, that's the way I feel about a lot of, like some of the emulation that are done by the parent companies, like for the PS2. Really, you know what? MAME does a better job of
it does. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know, it's like, wow, dude, it's like, come on. You know, like, there's a good example, like, even if you have, like, the Taito collection on the PS2 and so forth, you know, wow, you're better off just doing MAME, because MAME does a better job, because they've been at it since, for years. You know, they know how to emulate. These like, kind of, like, companies, like, oh, all right, we want to emulate our old classics, and it turn out as good.
Well, that's what I said. I was talking to somebody the other day. They should be hiring these guys. You know, the guy that done the Super Nintendo, you know, emulator Huygens. They hire him. You know, get him on your team. You know, at least the games will be, you know, bang on. You know, because they aren't. They're absolutely rubbish. You know, they really annoyed me. So after that, you know, I got rid of that, and I never ever downloaded, you know, those games again because, like I said, I done a better job on my PC.
Plus, I heard. Sorry.
Sorry, Sal. Like what PC was saying earlier about the Samurai Showdown collection he purchased for the PS2. That is they did a very good job on emulating those games.
Yes.
And same with all the SNK game collections like Fatal Fury, World Heroes. Those are must-haves to me. Those are actually done very well. And
the King of Fighters one is fucked up.
Yeah. Sal did tell me about the King of Fighters Orochi Saga one. That it was messed up.
That is fucked up. The Wii one is better.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, it's because I know there are glitches in those games, and you really got to be like a long-time fan to understand those glitches. You know, but yeah, they're not perfect. They're good. They're worthy. You know.
But then this going back to that, Jared, again when we were talking, ages ago about the the Neo Geo X. That was another system, that was poor emulation. It done a worse job than MAME by a long shot. I mean, Jesus, they when on my other channel when I done that comparison, it's just I mean that's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I just thought it was a horrendous job on that. I should have just pinched MAME and bloody done it like that instead. I don't know what the hell they used in there, but it was bloody rubbish anyway.
The one thing I'm going to comment is a lot about that downloadable stuff, let's say, off of the thing. The one thing I noticed, though, is a lot of times people used to complain about was when they download, let's say, whatever the game is, that sometimes because of copyright issues and things of that nature, when you download, let's say, a Ninja Turtle game or any arcade game, a lot of times, if they still don't have the rights to certain things, you might download an arcade game and the fucking music is completely different. I've been hearing a lot of people say that certain things are off because they really don't have the license for it or something is off in the game, and I'm like, if you're going to spend, I don't know, let's be generous and say $10 fucking for a game. Let's just be generous and say that's what it is. The point is, when I expect to get on the virtual console, the way things are nowadays, because technology has improved drastically in the past few years, I expect that game to be 100%. If you can't bring that game out 100%, don't bring it out at all. And when people are trying to cash in, with companies like Nintendo fucking up their shit, and they're trying to cash in, that's what brings down people's reputations, because they see, they're just trying to cash cow it. Don't bring the fucking game out. Beta test the fucker before you...
But you know what though? Exactly. But I have to just let me go back to that whole Neo Geo X thing. People got so used to playing on MAME that they thought that what they were getting on the Neo Geo was going to be MAME quality Neo Geo games, where it's not. It emulated the actual Neo Geo. Once again, the actual Neo Geo's picture looks like shit.
Yeah.
It looks like shit.
Yeah.
It's fuzzy. It's not in focus. It's disgusting. You have to get it modded in order to Yeah,
exactly. PC, you got it right. The Neo Geo original home console, the only thing that it could do is RCA cable. That's what it came with. You can put in RF. There's RF. You can put in RF, and you can also, if you're privileged, you can have there's the RGB cable for it. There is an RGB cable that SNK brought out, but how many people back in the 90s had an RGB monitor? I don't know of anyone who would, I mean, that would have been like so exotic to have an RGB monitor capability back in the 90s. Just no one had it. I don't know anyone who had it.
Well, see, I think people got kind of tripped up when it came to the X when they introduced the HDMI port. So they was like, okay, it's gonna it's gonna look like MAME. Where no, it's just there just in case you don't have an old television anymore. It's gonna still look the same way as it did, just connected to HDMI.
Yeah, you know what? I got my Neo Geo X working right now. I got it on my old school TV set. It's hooked up, and to me, it does the job. It does the job for what you can do with it. It reminds me of playing the Neo Geo back on my friends, because I couldn't afford a Neo Geo back then. He had it on his old school TV. It doesn't look any different.
Yeah, because I had the Neo Geo back in the day, and when I put it to a 27 Mitsubishi, I thought there was something wrong with the system because the games looked garbage. Mm-hmm. I mean, they really did. It wasn't until maybe within the past couple of years when I've got my shit modded and things of that nature, I'm like, wow, that's what they're supposed to fucking look like, because they're garbage. I mean, the people who are playing MAME, like I was saying to Lloyd, yeah, they look garbage, but you got to remember, when you're playing it on a computer monitor and things of that nature, they're going to look drastically better than they did on these systems, because what happens is that the Neo Geo and all, for the most part, like if you look at my videos most of the time when I'm recording them, you'll see I'll record them, let's say 1080, 720. But if you actually look at the games and all that, the games I have them on my system are upscaled because I'm using my SCART cable to HDMI converter, so it's processing, upscaling the signal that I have, so it looks actually pretty damn decent. So when you see, but if I just composited that on an old CRT
it's
or
over.
a fucking thing, it's going to look, you'd be like, well, what the fuck is the big thing about Neo Geo? But when you see it upscaled on the system, you're like, wow, that actually does look pretty good. Everything is clearer, the faces look different. Okay, you can see the jaggies because it's an old game, but the thing is that the games look terrible. I remember when I had my Nintendo hooked up to a TV, it was so blurry, I actually bought it to a Nintendo Place when they used to have service centers. I don't know if you guys remember that shit, but here in the States, they used to have Nintendo service centers where you used to bring it. I said, yo, my thing looks like garbage, and I thought it was I thought it was the system. They cleaned it, did whatever. It was the same result. It looked like shit, and that's why people have to realize that the way MAME looks, you're playing that on an actual computer, and computer monitors are not in composite. That's a way higher signal, and because that's how games are made, or through PCs. PCs they're programmed for PCs, and they look fantastic, and then they're put on these arcade boards, and they're processed through the RGB thing with the monitor, and they look fantastic because that's the way they're supposed to look. The technology in them, that's why they're so expensive, these arcades. But when you get them home, you're like, I'm not getting the same fucking result, and it's just not happening.
Going back to saying that, I sort of say with me, Pete, I don't play none of mine on I play my MAME and all my emulation on my plasma, and then I have the fake scan lines. And like I say, I've got the Polestar running now, and there's just no way on this earth, no matter what setup you've got, if you've got the original, you will not get the picture quality that you're going to get that I'm getting, out of the plasma there with the fake scan lines. You know what I mean? That's just no way. I mean, it is absolutely bang on, crystal clear, no ghosting image, nothing. There's just nothing, And but I'll agree, if you're playing it on, like say, a laptop, and things like that, then you're not going to get that experience. I'm sitting here with a joystick, I'm looking at a 50-inch screen, fake scan lines. I've got a slight little curved edge, to give me that slight tube effect. And the things you can do now, Sal, is unbelievable, man. You can have fake jitter, it's just unbelievable, man. It's just like looking at a giant 50-inch CRT, you know what I mean? You just, I had a mate come, and the other week I hadn't seen him for about 5 years, and he was just absolutely gobsmacked. He just couldn't believe it, what he was seeing. Do you know what I mean? He said, "How the hell are you doing that?" It's till you see it and it's done properly. And you can appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree, Lloyd. But see, the point is because technology has moved so fast and so far. In a sense, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because technology moved too far in some instances, like as far as with this console generation. But the point is that the fact of the matter, you can add things and make it look closer to what the arcade, with the RGB and the scan lines, and making it look really nice. But a lot of these, that's the only thing that was different with a lot of these systems and stuff. When you had them initially in the beginning, they just did not have that fucking capability unless you had expensive TVs like a Trinitron or something where you could really upscale or not upscale or just kind of like be able to separate signals where you're getting a better, clear picture. But I didn't have any of those TVs. S-Video's kind of out there. A lot of TVs.
That's pretty exotic,
It was exotic, exactly. Because even in color TV and color TVs, since they've been around, TVs themselves were super expensive. But having a color TV and just having the composite and the RF was considered fucking the bee's knees and shit. Now, and then S-Video coming along and all, that was even super expensive. If you had components on that TV was probably fucking thousands and thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah. At that time frame, yes. That was not. I remember the first time I ever saw S-Video was that my brother had a big, huge Sony Wega TV, and the Dreamcast had just came out, and I went over to his house, and I saw it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the differences between the screen quality, what I had in my own home, with all components, And his S-Video on his Sony Wega was like unbelievably. I mean, it was just like night and day.
But you did. I mean, I had a CRT back in the day. It was a Sony. I can't remember what it was, but it had 1080i on it. You know what I mean? And nobody was
for time.
Way ahead of its time. You know what I mean? 1080i on a bloody, you know, on a CRT was just unbelievable. You know.
Yeah.
And that's what they were then. You know.
It's amazing today. It's amazing today that we actually take a lot of shit for granted, because nowadays all the TVs are all fucking interlaced or they're, you know, fucking they're this or they're that. And the point is we take it for granted because back in the day, I think in a lot of ways we're kind of like spoiled now because with converters, upscaling, and all sorts of MAME and fucking this other trickery and fucking witchcraft that happens nowadays. We're actually fucking spoiled. Right? Now, today we're like, wow, this is gold, but back then, you know, you see how we were playing with such antiquated technology that it's just amazing that it's like we just came out the Dark Ages or something.
Yeah. All right.
But that's the thing. I've got a CR. I've got a Wega upstairs, you know, 32-inch, and I've got like 3 or 4 consoles hooked up to that. But I barely touch it because I just come down here and I think, Jesus, you know, I mean, obviously my eyes must be getting worse anyway, but, you know, I come down here and it's just so much more, you know, clearer, and that's how I like it, you know. But I'll go up there on the CRT and I've got things hooked up, all RGB and, you know, S-Video and all that, but it still doesn't compete, you know, compared to what, you know, I've got down here, or running stuff through the SLG, you know, again, which is a, you know, brilliant tool, you know, if you want to bring scan lines, you know, to old consoles, you know.
Okay. Well,
just a quick story I had with emulation, guys. Is I had purchased because I want, you know, like going back, I wanted to get a Mega CD. I wanted a Japanese Mega CD, you know, from back in the 90s. And I bought one. I bought from a UK seller, and he told me that everything was refurbished and it was good. It's got a new laser mechanism and everything was perfect. And I bought it from him for about, I think it was about 120 pounds, which for me translates to about like 130 or 140 bucks. I bought it, came and hooked it up to my Mega Drive. Thing worked perfectly right out of the box. And I was so happy. I thought it was awesome. You know, I could play my old Sylphy and some of my old favorite games on that thing. And it worked great for about 2 nights. For 2 nights, it worked great. And then the 3rd night, it just took a crap. And I was like, oh my God, you know, it's like I paid all this money. This thing's dead. And my bro came by. He's like, you know what? Why don't you just emulate this stuff? I'm like, what? Okay. And he hooked me up with an emulator for the Mega CD. And then I was able to still play my games again. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's like, yes, you know, I can still play.
Yes, I mean, you still got that same experience, didn't you? You know what I mean? You're still going to get that same feeling. You know, it's not like, oh, I haven't got it. Oh, you know, you're still going to get that. You know, because you enjoy games. If you enjoy games, you're still going to enjoy that same experience. You know what I mean? That's
this stuff is old. You know, it's over 20 years old. A lot of cases.
Exactly.
It's not gonna be. You know, it's just the way that it is. So to me, it's a great tool. You know, I'm glad that it's around.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's used in the right sound, laughing.
I just sit there. It's just like it just sounds like a bunch of fucking old fucks. Like, you know.
Yeah, I know. I know it's fun.
It's just like not just sitting in a conversation. I'm like, God damn, how old the fuck are you? I'm like, Jesus. But no, I understand where he's coming from. I would have been pissed as shit at that fucking UK fucking seller, dude. I would have been cursing British and everything. I would have been like fucking putting my hand up in the fucking air in a fist. But the thing is, I agree with you. I agree that the point is that a lot of these games and stuff like that and some of these systems aren't, well, especially ones with optical drives, are not going to fucking last. They're just not going to fucking last.
Yeah, and I that's the way I rationalize it too. It's like, you know, this stuff is over 20 years old now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so how can you expect this stuff to really last?
But they're saying that now with discs, you know. Even they're saying now with this is another thing that might upset you, Sal, with the GD-ROM discs that Sega made. Apparently, a lot of those discs were all made on the cheap, and now we're steadily seeing that even Dreamcast games are getting disc rot. And do you know what I mean? So I mean, you've already got disc rot on on PlayStation 1 games and Sega Saturn games. The best way is to find out. You hold up to the light. If the light shines through the disc, you're more likely eventually going to get disc rot, and that game's going to fail. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that, and that's what's going to happen.
What's funny is, like, I think I mentioned in the video, like with my Dreamcast and all, like I would put in like a game that was like perfectly, it had no scratches, it looked like every touch, and I'll pin the Dreamcast and it wouldn't fucking load up, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I can see it had a scratch in it, but I tried to put it in and all, and it would take me like quite a bit to get it going. I was like, why is this disc not working? I was like, either, and I took the Q-tip and cleaned off, the optical drive to make sure that it was going. But I kind of noticed, though, with the Dreamcast especially, that the drives are at certain points are very inconsistent.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
But I could see a problem in the future with, because that was big. The biggest thing with the Dreamcast is that the drives are kind of like my PS2s. Like I have had my original fat PS2 that I've had since like 2003, and it's still kicking. And these are with the front trays and all. And the Japanese one I have, they seem to be all right. But the Dreamcast, I've noticed, has been really inconsistent, especially with games that don't have any flaws to them per se. So I did notice.
Yeah, you're right. I've been through 2 Dreamcasts. I'm on my second Dreamcast.
They are finicky machines. You have to, there's a few little things you can do, to get them going. It's the pins on there, and it's the lid switch as well on a lot of them. If you open it up, you'll see the lid switch. There's like a little black plastic bit that flicks up, and what's happened, if the Dreamcast lid is continuously slammed down instead of being closed down gently, that forces that switch back. So when you put a game, and you may be playing a game, and that game will just suddenly reset and just go to the menu screen, and that is a lot to do with the switch. You'll find on one of mine, and what I've actually done is I put a tiny bit of blue tack on the lid switch. When I push the lid down, the blue tack will hit the little black switch because it's been pushed back so far, and that Dreamcast now works flawless. So that's a lot of the problems with it. It's not nothing to do with the laser, but like I say, going back to like disc rot, a lot of the Dreamcast, we're starting to see a lot of Dreamcast games that are failing that look perfectly clean, and that's, like I say, one way of testing them out is to hold them up to the light, and if that light shines through that disc, you've got problems. And Sega did; they made them on the cheap. This is where, like I say, I don't collect much. I mean, I've got a few original Dreamcasts. I mean, I bought Gunlord, and is it XYX or whatever coming out?
Yeah.
I've got those coming.
I got the email from the NG Dev.
Yeah, same as me. But the thing is, I mean, all my other ones, I just copy them, and if they fuck up, then I'm just going to chuck that disc in a bin because it cost me 10 pence, and then I'm just going to, I'm just going to download it again and pop it in there. You know what I mean? But all my backup discs, touch wood, have never fucked up, and the console I've got there is one that I've had virtually. I think that's probably was a launch one I had, and it's still going, and it still plays backups flawless. So you know what I mean. But this is what I'm saying. Older stuff will just fade. Quick, especially disc-based stuff. Anyway, I'd say cartridges definitely will outlive a CD anyway. And then obviously you've got like things going further back like floppy disks and cassettes, C64 collectors and Spectrum collectors. Those games are just they're gonna be fucked. You know what I mean? They're not gonna last. There's no way.
All right. Well, I have one more topic, just a small topic for you guys. Since Sal called us old, basically we'll start trying to have a new little last topic where, basically kind of like modern gaming. For some people who might not be too into modern gaming, just kind of catch them up on things. I was reading this article regarding, I guess Nintendo posted a $300 million loss for this year, and I've seen a lot of articles like talking shit about them and dooming them, where Sony actually put up a financial report where they're losing $1.1 billion this year. I just want to know, what do you guys think about that? Because if it keeps, if it keeps going like that, You know, it'll be like another Sega. You know, we're gonna lose another company.
Well,
and I'm not. I mean, and being honest with you, I don't think it's gonna be Nintendo because they've been around for so long.
I don't think it'll be Nintendo either. I agree with that.
No.
I don't think it will. They got their fingers in so many other pies though. Besides, the Wii. Forget the Wii U. Look at everything else they've got. You know. So I know. I think they took a pay cut across the board, didn't they? A lot of them?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, the thing is that here's the problem, though. As far as if you're talking, let's say, the big three, as we call them, the thing is that the only one who actually is really facing fucking, eating it from a fucking garbage can is really a Sony. Because Sony has put a lot of their chips into the PlayStation brand. Because when's the last time you heard somebody say, oh, I really want to play something Sony, or I want to buy something Sony? Sony used to be a fucking technological leader. They used to be every fucking thing. Like, if you owned a Sony, you were the man. It was expensive, but you always got quality for what you got. Nowadays, Sony's been bringing out all sorts of fucking products that are just confusing, and they're not really the leaders in technology that they used to be. And their faith in the PlayStation brand, and while the first PlayStation was successful, the second one was successful, a third one they just fucked up, and they eventually caught up and started actually getting profit. But the same goes here. They're putting too many chips into one basket, and they haven't really brought out for what their true name used to be is innovation. And because there's no innovation on their part, they need to fucking be careful what they're doing, because otherwise Sony will be a thing of the past. Now, as far as Microsoft is not banking so much on Xbox because they actually lose money on a lot of these systems. But their Windows and all sorts of other shit that they're programming for PC and doing a lot of computer software, that's what keeps them always on. So I don't think they're ever going to really have a problem. Nintendo, I don't think really has a problem either, because even though they're a video game manufacturer, I don't think they're just going to pull out too fast on the Wii U. But they're taking a hit on it. And remember, I was talking to you about that, Jose, saying, yo, where do you think the U is going to go? Because, like I said, I got to sit back on it. The 3DS is doing fantastic. It is what it is because it's catering to the younger, like a kiddie, almost casual base. Whereas the U, because of the shit marketing, and there's kind of like really no place for it because of the ahead of the two consoles, even though technically Xbox One is behind the PS4, it's more advanced than the Wii U, but not by much. And the thing is that the only real one that has to actually kind of fucking worry and not have any fucking sleep at night is really Sony, because they better get their act together. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that, they're going to go belly to fuck up, or they're going to be a shadow of themselves. Because the gaming market, it's really, the climate has changed over the past, I would say maybe decade, and we're not getting what we're getting in AAA titles, and a lot of people are scared to put out games for these systems because they're not doing well, or they're not making the money that they've invested so much time into. So the way I see it is that Nintendo will always continue to maybe do some games, some part, but I think because of the Wii U issue, I think they're going to be way more careful in the future and really sit back and watch the climate and see where to go from there, because they see that kind of their Wii U, I'm sorry to say it, Jose, was kind of sort of like a debacle because they jumped the gun too fast, and the the Wii Pad and all that shit, they were supposed to be innovation with that, but we haven't really seen anything. But that's just my opinion. But I think Nintendo's going to be around for a minute because there's really not more else they can do, and I think their planning and financial strategies are a bit better, and I think they'll back off from the Wii U to an extent, but I think it will be short-lived, the Wii U. But they won't pull a second and be like, fuck it, and here's 300 peripherals. That I don't think they're that stupid to pull that shit. Like, Sega was stupid, whereas is that Nintendo isn't stupid. They just got bad timing, and I think they'll just, whereas Sony's the only one who's got to, kind of sit there and like go to the fucking soup kitchen for meals. So, it's kind of the way I see it, per se. Yeah.
Anybody else want to take it?
What I'll say is, if you read a lot of like just mainstream financial press, people, not really, they're just more industry. What the according to them, usurper is the mobile market. It's basically mobile phones. So basically, there's a huge pressure or financial pressure for Nintendo within the industry to basically relinquish the IPs from Nintendo and make them for iPhones, iPads. Basically bring out Nintendo properties for those devices that we all use every day. So Nintendo has been basically, for now, they've been resistant to that. They don't want to release their IPs to the mobile market, which I think is very smart because that's their trump card, and they know it. So if they give up their IPs like Sega did back in the day, they relinquished their IPs to allow them to be on all these other platforms, and now they don't really have a trump card. So Nintendo has basically been really resilient, and they're saying, okay, all right, we know we've lost a little bit of money, but we're not going to relinquish our IPs to mobile devices and so forth, which I think is pretty smart. But the industry thinks that it's stubborn. So hopefully Nintendo holds on to their IPs, holds on to their money-making ideas, and hopefully they'll just weather this whole thing out. So I hope Nintendo does it.
Yeah, I don't think they'll go down the same route Sega did anyway. There's no way we're not going to see Mario on a Sony console or Microsoft anyway. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, but how about a mobile phone though? How about a mobile phone like Android or
it's
like
quite possible.
I mean,
that's quite possible, but I still don't think. I can't see it happen. I mean, Sega, a lot of their cock-ups really was all that, with all their add-ons at the time. I mean, I think if they didn't spend so much time with the 32X and the CD add-on and things like that, things might have been a bit different, and the same with the Saturn, the sort of, it was a little bit behind, it was a 2D powerhouse, yes, it's a great console, but it was, it wasn't really technically a 3D machine, was it? And we were then moving into that, and the PlayStation just trounced it, you know what I mean? So, that's where I think Sega lost a lot of money with all that crap that, when you have that all plugged in, it is quite laughable, really, when you look at it all, really.
Yeah.
And they did waste a lot of money, and then there was all those other things, where they were like what's the other little one, the Nomad, and all these other little things, Sega just wasted money in that sense, they could have still been around. It's a shame, really, it is a shame.
Well, what I think about that whole thing is that I think a lot of people kind of get it twisted. The Nintendo home console is not their main focus ever since the Game Boy. The Game Boy actually makes them a lot more money than any of their systems do.
Yeah.
And all over the world, you can sell a Game Boy or a DS or 3DS anywhere. But certain areas, you can't sell, like a Wii or a GameCube because people are not going to buy it. So that's why I think the 3DS is doing so well, because Nintendo is focusing more on the 3DS right now, trying to make up some of that lost money. And it sucks as a Wii U owner. That
I agree with you, Jose, because you know what, it seems that every time they actually bring out a handheld, they always do well in it.
Yeah, always.
Nintendo's got the golden fucking touch.
Yeah.
Like, they can touch like handhelds, because I think that's where they appeal to the casual gamer, and the consoles and all. I don't think, like I said, we talked about in past podcasts, but their handhelds are fucking incredible. Mm-hmm. They have the Midas touch with the handhelds. They know who to appeal to. They got the right people working on it. They've got the right support. It's fantastic. They're like spot on wins. There's no company that can compete to them compared to handhelds. They are supreme. And I think really what they should be doing is focus on, and that's my personal opinion, sorry to say, is really they should just continue with handhelds.
Well, I mean, some people do agree with you, Sal. But me, I think that the personal home console games like Mario 64 couldn't be done anywhere else, and that's one of the best games of all time because of that controller. Even though that N64 controller is terrible, really. I mean, it is. You know what I'm saying? So
I love that controller. I have to argue with everyone about that. I love that controller.
I mean, to me, it's only good for like Mario Kart and adventure games to me. But As far as
you can't play Sin and Punishment without that controller.
That's that's true. That's true. But I mean, as far as like their handhelds and stuff, yeah, they have the absolute Midas touch, just like you're saying. But I think what happened with the Wii U was they wanted to do more support with third parties, and I think third parties kind of stabbed them in the back a little bit, so they were unprepared. So now they're playing catch up, and I mean, people say that that third parties matter. Well, third parties really haven't mattered since the PlayStation 2 era. When you seen what happened with that, PlayStation 2 ran amok on third parties, and the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, the third parties that they did get, I mean, let's be real, they weren't really that good. You only had a handful that were really good, and the rest of it was kind of shovelware. But I think the lifespan of the Wii U, I think the Wii U ultimately will be good. I think it's another GameCube, really. But at the same time, the GameCube was actually more profitable than the PlayStation 2. And the PlayStation 2 sold like 3 times more than that. Almost 4 times more.
And you know what the sad thing is, Jose? I really want the Wii U to be successful.
Because, I think it will be.
I really do want it to, because I was thinking about, remember I was kind of like going back and forth with you on it, saying, well, I kind of want, but I'm still kind of waiting. And that's what I do with consoles. Like, I just sit back and I just wait to see what's going on, kind of like to see where it's going, what kind of product lineup. And I really do want Nintendo to be successful because, like I said, I like the 3DS and things like that, and I want to see them, but, it's just, I don't know what to say as far as what they're going to do. They better pull out some dynamic games, because otherwise, people are going to be using that shit as a doorstop.
Yeah, I mean, really, all they need are the games. I mean, they hold all the cards when it comes to first-party games. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Sony has nothing. They have nothing. PlayStation 3 was such a disappointment for me. I mean, really, all I do on it is play PlayStation 2 and 1 games on mine.
Yeah, that's why I got rid of mine in the summer. Got rid of it.
And Xbox, all they have is Halo for me. That's it. You see what I'm saying? So really, all I have to look forward to is Nintendo stuff.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Because the PlayStation 4, I'm not going to buy it until there's at least 5 games that I want for it.
I'm not even going to buy it.
See, that's what I'm trying to say. But let me ask you a question, Lloyd. Were you such a fan of the PlayStation 2 and 1?
Yeah, PlayStation 1 and 2, I loved it. But I just, I had a PlayStation 3 as well, and I didn't have it very long at all.
Thank you.
There are some nice games on there, but I ain't touching none of them to, Xbox One or the PS4. That's why I plummeted, and got the Wii U in the end. I waited a little while, and I think it was the Wind Waker HD remake that sort of swayed me really, and then I thought, right, I'm gonna get it, and then I just bought a bunch of games. Like I say, I've still got to go through them, but I'm well impressed with it. I think it's a cracking machine.
It is. Once you actually get a hold of it and play with it, it is. I mean,
holding that controller and playing like Mario 3D, I was just looking at the screen, and it's just amazing. I think it's superb,
Yeah.
You know what I got to say? I was like the Mario. See, I haven't played the Mario 3D. I just seen some of you guys' videos on it. But I love Mario Wii U. I think that's an outstanding game. It really gives homage, whether you're new school or old school. I mean, I thought it was so much fun.
But that Jared, that 3D one, that gave me that buzz I got when I first played, the Mario 64. It sort of brought that feeling back, if you know what I mean. Because the first time I saw that, I actually creamed myself. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I got that same feeling when I put that in, and I looked at it, and I think, Jesus, it's 1080p, 60 frames a second. It just looks good. It's like playing a cartoon. It's just incredible game. Incredible.
That's what it is.
You know full well it won't be long before there's going to be a Zelda game on there, and it's just going to be mind blowing. It's going to be something. We know it's coming.
Yeah, well, they have Donkey Kong coming out next Sunday, which I'll pick up.
Yeah, I've got that on order.
And they have that Mario Kart, and of course Smash Brothers, which is one of my favorite games. So,
is there Bayonetta 2 as well, or something?
Huh?
Is there a Bayonetta game?
Oh yeah, Bayonetta 2. So
yeah, we've got that coming as well. So and that's exclusive as well, anyway, to the Wii U.
See, me, I always bought systems off of exclusives, the power of exclusives.
Yeah.
The third parties weren't really that good to me. Now I do have a lot on the PS2, but once again, that era is dead. People still think third parties are important like the PS2 era, where they're not. It's not. It's never going to be that way again.
Yeah.
Because it costs too much to make games nowadays.
Oh yeah, because everybody has to have a movie title budget in order to fucking do it, and companies don't have that shit.
Exactly. That's why Sony's in that predicament now, because they were money hatting for exclusive games and stuff like that, and they weren't making a profit on the PlayStation 3 for so long that now they're on soup kitchen level where they have junk bonds. You know, like their stock is junk rated.
Great.
Yeah. So
you're right. It's just kind of like these budgets, like you guys are saying, like Sal was saying, dude, it's like if the budget, if you invest this much in a game, you invest like $50 million to a game, you have to make you got to make some profit. So if you invest all that money into a game and you don't reap the profit from it, basically that studio goes bankrupt.
Exactly.
You know. So those are high stakes, man. Those are high stakes. So,
exactly, because let's say it costs you $50 million to make a game or whatever the fuck it may be. You better hope that you're making at least $200 million to not only recover whatever profits on, but the profits that you made, but to actually make a profit. It doesn't make sense.
And Sal's not even including marketing for that game.
Yup.
All the press, all the packaging, all the stuff. You have to really make a good amount of money. But in the PS2,
but this is why we're seeing the same old thing. You know what I mean? That's why we always see the same old games. You know, like with Forza. You know, I mean, my brother's got an Xbox One. You know, and basically all that is just a DLC. You know, it's just a waste of time. You know. There's no, like what Sal was saying earlier, there's no innovation. It's the same old shit. You know,
exactly.
Same old crap. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's just something with shinier graphics on it. Wow, I don't want to see that. You know what I mean?
No.
And you know what, Lloyd? The reason why is because the gamers did that. They're wanting to do technology, this new. And what happens, a lot of these companies are afraid to actually go, because if they feel they don't make it, they're going to fucking, like I said, they're going to be, hanging themselves by a fucking rope above their fucking, the fucking pillars and all. They're going to do that because you can't have innovations. Everybody's sticking to what they call safe territory.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what sucks now, really. That's what I don't like about it. You know, like you say, they just stick to that formula. They can release another COD game because they know it's going to sell, X amount, and they're going to make profit, and that's what pisses me off the most. No one's taking risk. You've got to take some kind of risk. It's no good bringing out the same game, shinier graphics, blah blah blah. It's just pointless.
What it comes down to is I blame the gamers because of the gamers' poor choices and what they thought. Call of Duty, this, that, the other, and it comes back to us because that's why a lot of these game systems are focused on Hulu and Netflix and all this other dumb shit rather than like Nintendo console that doesn't give two fucks about that in gaming, because we wanted all the prettier graphics but we said, fuck gameplay. And you know what? We as the gamers did that. We destroyed ourselves by looking for shit that we shouldn't have been looking for because our thing is, that shit's old. We want new. And a lot of people, the game is broken. It comes out with no patches. I heard the Batman game, you can't even finish it. Because they don't give a fuck. We got your money, thank you very much. This is all you want was pretty graphics. It could be a stick figure. As long as the stick figure is 1080p, they're fucking.
That's true.
So the problem is we destroyed ourselves by fucking wanting shit that was, in other words, it's fuck graphics, go for gameplay. But people nowadays don't care about that. We destroyed ourselves, and that's where the crashes come into play, because that's what basically happened in the 80s. They did the same thing over and over again, and eventually people got tired of it, and they said, you know what, fuck it. We're not going to deal with it anymore. And they basically destroyed themselves until Nintendo had to go back and kind of reinvent the wheel and do what they had to do. That's probably what's going to happen. There's nobody out there but ourselves, because we told the companies what we wanted, and then they said we gave you what we want. You wanted the pretty graphics. Go fuck yourself. That's all you said you wanted.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. That's the whole reason why, I'm personally that's the one next gen system that I knew I was going to buy was Nintendo, because if I'm going to get the same old games, once again, Mario reinvents himself every single time, unless it's a direct sequel, right? Yeah. If I'm going to have to deal with that from all three companies, I might as well go for the best.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
That's exactly that's
I might as well go for the best, because even still, Nintendo still does put out those quirky games that are really unique. Like once again, like the Wonderful 101. Yeah. That's another quirky title that did not sell well. That's really good.
Yeah, one thing PC about this whole thing, you talk about Sony, you talk about Microsoft, and you talk about Nintendo. The thing that makes Nintendo unique, that it's a game creator from its core. It's not like, if you think about Microsoft and Sony, those guys just came into the business because they want money. Nintendo has been making video games forever. That's their core business. So that's what makes them unique. They're like the last game creator who makes the hardware and the software.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, once again, if someone, please leave it in the comments. Name me one game on Microsoft that's really relevant besides Halo. Name it. And on PlayStation side, name me one game that's relevant. One game. But I can name. I mean, really. But I can name you at least 5 or 6 on a Nintendo platform that's over in the millions. First party wise, not third party. First party wise.
Yep. Actually, one of the times when I got my 3DS, the first thing what I got for 3DS was fucking new Super Mario Brothers 2. When it came out years ago, when it first came out, it was fucking fantastic. I went towards the Mario games.
There you go. That's
why.
I
didn't go towards third-party shit. I did buy a couple of third parties, but out of the 4 games I had, 3 of them are all first-party. There are 2 Super Mario games and a Donkey Kong Country game.
So on that right there, Sal, you're saying that really the first party is what got you to buy the 3DS, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. So you don't think that the Wii U is going to have that same effect?
I believe that the problem is that I believe it will, but hurry the fuck up.
That's my biggest thing. Yes, they need to hurry the fuck up.
Hurry the fuck up. What are you waiting for? Like, are you waiting for fucking people to start throwing fireworks in the air? Hurry the fuck up with your shit.
Exactly.
Because if you hurry the fuck up, you can probably save yourself. Otherwise, what are you waiting for?
Yes, because once again, we all know this. The Neo Geo was the strongest of that generation. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PC Engine. It was the strongest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We got PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, Xbox, GameCube. I believe the Xbox was the strongest, or GameCube. It didn't come in first as far as sale-wise. As profitability, it didn't.
All right.
So I think it's going to be like that. I don't think graphics really matter anymore. I think we've reached a plateau when it comes to graphics. They can always be more detailed, but as far as
you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's not going nowhere.
To be honest with you, they've even proven it. The difference between 1080p and 720, the human eye can barely fucking tell the difference.
Yeah,
that's true.
And the point is, like you said, Nintendo, and let's even Neo Geo. The majority of the games are first party.
Yeah, almost all of them.
That was supported basically on first party games because there wasn't that much third party for it. It was first party. It's kind of like Nintendo. Their first party is what keeps them going. All they gotta do is hurry the fuck up with their shit, and we'd be good to go.
I hear you. I can't wait for that Mario Kart.
Me too.
Cannot wait for that Mario Kart. And Zelda. So get the shit going, Nintendo.
Yes.
Get the shit going.
You just know they're going to use that controller to full use when that comes out.
Believe me. Lloyd.
Sorry.
Lloyd, do you not like the Wii U gamepad?
I love the Wii U.
I love it too. It's a really good device.
To look at it, you think, geez, that thing is just going to be awful to hold, but it's absolutely amazing. It's so comfortable. and the feel, the control. You actually feel like like say you play Mario 3D Land. You just feel like you're in total control. That's what I feel with that pad. And like I say, there's a few bits in the game where you can pull blocks out, and it's just brilliant. I love it. I think it's a great controller, really good controller.
Good.
But I suppose if you've got baby hands, then maybe. But I've got quite big hands, so it's fine for me. I love it. Great controller.
Yeah. All right. Well,
definitely.
I mean, we're coming up to the end of the podcast, so we'll give our final comments. We'll start off with Sal. Go on, man.
Whoa, man, caught me off.
Sorry.
Final comments. Well, it's a shame that this podcast took fucking months to fucking come up, but
sorry, guys.
Dude. You're busy live, brother. I can't fault you on that. You got a lot on your plate. But it's another good podcast. Like I said, it was a good topic of emulation. As time goes on, I see for myself that really the emulation, even though, like I said, I'm not really 100% for it, but I can understand it and I can appreciate it, and especially in this retro boom. So I'm kind of swaying towards that way and coming to that understanding. So, but other than that, like I said, all good topics, and I'm glad we got a chance to do this again.
Cool. All right, we'll go with Lloyd.
Yeah, no, I'll just echo what Sal said. The same thing. Like I say, it was good as well. Have my chance to speak on here because, like I say, I'm just having I'm going to have a long break from making videos. It's just nice. I'm just going to concentrate on playing the stuff I've got because I've just got too much to play. So, and like I say, I keep ending up going back to the retro stuff. So that sort of gets in the way, really. But that's what I'm going to mostly do. But don't worry, my channel's not going to be shut down or nothing. And like I say, it was nothing to do with people on YouTube or anything like that. That's just me taking a break, and you might see a video in a year's time or whatever. I don't know, but at the minute I just want to enjoy my games and appreciate the games, the new ones as well, and start bloody cracking the seals open on some of these bloody Wii U games. Because I got that wonderful, is it 101 you said or whatever? I picked it up pretty cheap. I think I got it for about £15. So
man, Lloyd, play that game.
It looks awesome.
Play it,
looks
man.
Awesome.
It's really long. It has a good storyline. Play it. It's good.
Yeah. So that's basically what I'll be doing anyway. Like I say, I'll be still commenting, popping the odd picture up, but mostly I'm just going to be playing my games, and like I say, Sal with his Polestar video is sort of basically kicked me up the arse to finish this, and I'm gonna smash it open and one life it. So it's gonna happen.
All right, cool. And we'll go with Jared. Closing comments, man.
Hey, man, just it's always a privilege to talk to you guys, man. It's like you guys are my buddies, and just being able to talk about games and all the old school and new school, and just shoot the crap. It's always great. So it's awesome. I'm glad PC was able to take some time and hook up the podcast. Sal and Lloyd, you guys are great, and hopefully we can do this again. So I just appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who likes us, stop in and listen. So appreciate that.
That's cool. It's cool. And just for me, just want to say thank you guys once again for joining us on the podcast. We really enjoy making these. Sorry about the break. Just life is really busy. We're all grown ups here, so
yeah, man, definitely.
We all have things we have to do. But once again, keep gaming. Doesn't matter what you game on, what's your favorite system or game. They're all good. So this is PC, and I am signing off.